All righty, on a Tirade Tuesday, here we go. Let's start off with John. He is in Kansas City. What's your tirade, John? Go ahead.
Well, Pete, good morning. My problem here is with law enforcement here in Kansas City. I support them 100%, but I want you to hear this story. I'm retired KCPD sergeant. Have a good friend who recently retired as well. And he did some evening security for our mayor, Quentin Lucas. One night he was sent to pick up the mayor's mother. He opens the car door for her, and the first thing out of her mouth is, "I don't like the police." He says, okay. To me, that just tells you everything you need to know, that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We have a Jackson County prosecutor, Gene Peters Baker, a mayor, Quentin Lucas, who have gone out of their way to show support for criminals and have an overwhelming lack of support for the police department. I worked close to 30 years for this police department, and I love my job, just like many other great officers. Due to the lack of support by our county prosecutor and the mayor, Quentin Lucas, we have seen decreasing numbers, and none of us want to be the next Eric DeValcanier. Last Thursday, you had the mayor on your show, and he wouldn't even verbalize nor show any support for Eric DeValcanier. Instead, typical Quentin Lucas politics, he says this has been a tragedy for the DeValcanier family and the Cameron Lamb family. Well, he is wrong. This is a tragedy for the Eric DeValcanier family, a man who was doing his job and is now spending time in jail. As for Cameron Lamb, his family knew exactly who he was and that he was a criminal. They know that their son was making choices that could possibly put him in jail or kill him. Mm-hmm. Listeners, I'm imploring you to listen to Eric's father, who called into the show. He will explain exactly why this was a bogus decision, a conviction that was a tragedy.
John,
actually,
thank you. I got a lot of tirades I got to get to, my man. But I appreciate you bringing all those points up. They're good, and people can listen to that conversation with Eric's father. It's on our podcast from last Tuesday, so they can find it there. Thank you.
I know. Call in, people. Call in to the governor's office.
Yes, and that number, we have given out that number. I don't have it off the top of my head. Thank you, John, for your service, and thank you for your tirade as we kick it off on a Tirade Tuesday Halloween edition here on KCMO. Victor in Parkville, go. What's your tirade?
Well, good morning, Mr. Mondo. This is Count Victor from Parkville. My tirade is against all you unhealthy Americans. Since moving to this wonderful country, my cholesterol has increased tenfold. I'm on statins, can you believe it? I'm also now a borderline diabetic. Can you people drive by a Dairy Queen without getting a dipped cone or a blizzard? My doctor says I have to be careful. I will have to be taking insulin shots. I hate needles. Well, but at least with all the antidepressants in your bloodstream, I don't feel unhappy about it. Besides, as my therapist says, it's not all about me. So I wish to wish you and all your listeners a happy Halloween, and be careful out there. And remember, Drac lives matter.
That's very well done.
Drac lives matter.
Oh, that's great. Hashtag.
I'm impressed he kept the impersonation up through the whole thing.
Yes,
very good. Victor.
Me too, man. He missed his calling. Tell you that right now. I thought he was going to lose the accent or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
About halfway through. And he hung on there. And yes, Drac lives matter. There you go. That's well done. 913-408-7957 to get in on a Tirade Tuesday here on KCMO Talk Radio. Travis in Lenexa. What's your tirade, Travis?
Hey, Pete. I just want to have a conversation with you about this Julie Sayers, candidate for mayor of Lenexa. Are you following this whole issue between her and Kevin Keatsman?
No.
That Tony's of Kansas City had. Okay, well, I'll kind of
just give me a good tirade against someone, whoever you want it to be against, because conversation is not what the segment's about.
Yeah. I got you. Well, first of all, she's calling out people for vandalizing her signs. And whenever she's actually an award, and all she does is when you call her to complain about the city vandalizing your property, she flat out tells you, well, what do you want me to do? Or it's 2 p.m. on a Friday. It's too late to be talking to me. So she's running for mayor. She doesn't need to be the mayor of Lenexa. It needs to be Joe Carlin.
Joe Carlin. All right, that's your guy in Lenexa.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. You know what? Here's the thing. I'll just say this real fast on that issue and then get to more of your tirades. I've had a lot of the local candidates reach out about coming on. Maybe we'll do a couple of call-in segments where they can give their 2-minute pitch. We can't do too much of a deep dive on some of these because they're very micro to specific communities, obviously. So we're trying to cover it as best we can here over the next week. But, of course, a week from today. There you go. 913-408-7957 on a Tirade Tuesday. It's your segment. Mike in Kansas City. Let it rip, Mike. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Hey, you guys are awesome. I used to listen to a competitor talk radio show. They gave traffic and weather every 10 minutes on a certain time. And I'm driving home, and I'm waiting, and they're just gabbing, and they bypass the traffic for a whole 10 minutes. I got caught up in a traffic jam, gave me a 45-minute extra window going home, which sucked. And I thought, I'm going to find a new radio station, found yours, and I love it, man. So you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Mike. And you found us on 95.7?
Absolutely.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's gret. Well, thank you.
I'm a retired sergeant, too, and tell John hi who just called.
I will do that. Thank you very much, Mike.
Right,
I appreciate you finding us on 95.7 FM. That was, I was meeting with somebody yesterday, and they were trying to ask me to explain to them the whole 95.7 thing. And I'm like, listen, AM is great. We're not leaving AM. We're still on AM. We had a little FM, 250 watt. You're talking about 100,000 watt FM now at 95.7. So make sure you're hitting that preset because it's a game changer for us. Larry in Prairie Village, what's your tirade, Big Larry? Go ahead.
Well, I think you guys are all backwards on your irritation with the school system because you quote the fact that children really aren't learning way below what they ought to be. Do you think you can lay that totally at the feet of the teachers is the problem? Look at the parents that show no interest whatsoever in the child's academics. It doesn't work with if they bring home failing grades, they just say ho hum.
Mm-hmm.
How can my 2 grandchildren just receive academic scholarships going through the same schools that you think are just as rotten to the core? They're sitting through the same classes as the failing kids.
Well, hold on. I'm not saying that. No one's claiming they're rotten to the core, Larry. You're making assumptions there. But here's the deal. You are right. A large part of kids who are not doing well in school are not doing well in school because they have parents who don't care. There's a lot of people who are parents who have no business being parents. I agree with you there. However, the notion that if we just spend more money and if we invest more tax dollars into fill-in-the-blank school system as if that's somehow going to fix the problem, you and I both know that is not the case. The problem with public education is not the amount that we spend on it.
No, I agree. I mean, it's if one kid can make straight A's and the other kid's failing, and if that other kid isn't mentally disabled, there's something wrong at home.
Well, I mean, some people are smarter. I mean, we're not all made the same, Larry, right?
Right, but I mean, if a parent just lets that slide year after year, failing grades, without stepping in with a tutor or dealing with somebody, it's just, I think it's a devil-may-care attitude, like you're on your own. And
well,
I don't like it when the teachers get blamed for it.
No one is blaming the teachers, Larry. You're making that up.
Are you kidding? I mean, look, you guys are like banning books and everything else.
Oh, now you're conflating 7 different. Don't say. Stop. No, Larry. If you think that this conversation is about blaming teachers, you're only hearing what you want to hear. At no point have I said the teachers are to blame. There is a massive bureaucracy that is to blame. There is money not being spent on the classroom. I think the best math teachers should be paid just as much as the 7th assistant principal who does God knows what.
Well, I mean, I've heard you criticize the teachers in general for being primarily liberal.
Wrong.
Well, the woke ones maybe.
Wrong.
Yeah, the woke ones maybe. But come on, Larry. Yes,
Would you
there's
say most of them are woke? I mean, what is woke? Educated?
No. Woke is when you're like, hey, there's 6 genders. You're telling that to second graders, and then you're also saying, hey, let's do some sex ed here in first grade. That's not what elementary school's about, Larry.
Well, the opposite of woke is Trump won.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Larry. Larry, I got to run.
They want you to wake up.
Larry, we'll talk to you. Have a great day, okay?
All right. Buddy.
Wave that Ukrainian flag loud and proud from Prairie Village.
You can have the radio on and not hear it. Right? How many times have you said teachers need to be paid more?
Every time we talk about it?
Yeah, every time.
Every
My
time.
God.
Oh, brother. 913-408-7957.